And this morning we are honored with Paul Zach, who owns and operates America's Call Center. And there's the web URL. And you want to visit this. It's americascallcenter.com. And Paul is going to present for about 30 minutes or so, and then we'll take questions. So feel free to ask questions. And there's a little question field area, bottom right corner. You can type in your questions, line them up, and we'll go through them. And one of the things, Paul, I was looking at your website this morning, and I didn't realize that there's something I really like on your site that I didn't know you had. There's a tab called Meet Your Office. And there are people. I love these pictures. There's Amanda. Angelia? I'm not sure if I pronounced it.
Oh, yeah, she just goes by Angela.
Yeah, Angela. Lauren, Kim, Danny, Angie, Mary, they're all there. So it really brings a face. It's not just you answering the phone, right, Paul? You have a huge staff.
No. And these are actually just a sample of our folks. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
But these are a sample of our smiling faces back here that could be the inspector's office if he chooses.
Very good, very good. So let me bring up that that URL so everyone can see it visually, so everyone can go there after class. And Paul, I'm going to give you control. And whenever you're ready, you can take over the presentation and tell us what you're going to talk about today.
Okay, I got it. Everything's showing there for you, okay, Ben?
Yep.
Okay, good. Hey, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ben. I really appreciate the invitation today, and thank you, everybody, for being here. You know, really what I want to talk about today is, yes, this one simple thing that you can do to grow your business, do the things that you enjoy doing, and also this catchphrase I hear an awful lot, get your life back. I really want to do that by sharing some experiences. You know, and what I mean by that is, you know, all of us here have one thing in common. We really do. We're what most people call the owners of small businesses. We're small business owners. And though our businesses may be of varying sizes, you know, by most people's estimates, especially how, I guess, you know, the IRS and other people categorize us, we're small business owners. And that's one thing we all have in common. And that's really a common theme of what we're going to be talking about today as small business owners. What are some of the things as small business owners that we do, that we love to do, and what are things as small business owners that we do that we should not be doing? And it's really kind of holding us back. So that's really something I want to talk to you about today. And while we're doing that, two questions I'd love to have you percolate in the back of your mind. One of them is, why did you start your inspection company in the first place? Now, some of you have been in business for many years. Some of you may be new to your inspection company. You know, you might have started it very recently. However long it takes you to think back to why you started your inspection company. What were the motivating factors? What did you really want to achieve? Then the second question I'd like to have percolate in the back of your mind is, what parts of your inspection business, you know, your total business, everything you do to run your inspection business, what do you enjoy doing? What are the things that you really get jazzed up and motivated by? And those are probably the things, going back to the first question, that cause you to want to start your inspection company in the first place. And then what are the other things you do as running your inspection company that not really the top of your list, not really the thing you'd love to jump out of each bed each morning to do, the things you do not enjoy doing as much? So let's have those two questions bouncing around the back of your head while we're sharing some experiences. I want to share an experience with you right out of the bat, a personal experience of my own. And it was a life-changing moment way back 10 years ago in 2005. So let me tell you about it for a minute. It's kind of an interesting story. So back in 2005, America's Call Center was a lot smaller than it is now. Still doing the same great things for inspectors, but just a lot smaller because we have been blessed with great growth through the years. But back in 2005, I was, your small business owner and working, of course, what comes with that, right? Working 12, 16, 18 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, on the hamster wheel, doing everything to run the business. And it's not just because I was a small business owner. It's because that's the way I thought it had to be. I just thought that's the way it'd be. I'm a small business owner. If I don't do everything, it's not going to get done right, and therefore my business is going to suffer. So there was an inspector buddy of mine in Denver, and he sent me a book. He goes, Paul, you really need to read this book. And I said, Dave, I don't have time to read a book. He goes, really, just thumb through it. I think he could kind of tell from talking to me on the phone sometimes how stressed out I was. So he sent me this book. And the book he sent me it was called E-Myth Revisited. So E like an entrepreneurial. So it's the Entrepreneurial Myth Revisited. And it was by Michael Gerber. And it wasn't a new book at the time. It was, that book came out way back in, I don't know, the 90s somewhere. But he sent it to me. And what a nice guy. And so I managed to, try to sneak a little reading in here and there between I could late at night. And it did. It changed the way I thought about things. The book's a wonderful book if you ever get a chance to read it. It's got lots of examples in there, but basically here's what it's about. It's written to us. All of us here on this call today was written to us as small business owners. And what Mr. Gerber says, he goes, small business owners like us, we're the backbone of the U.S. economy. We really are. But you know what? We have certain things in our personality that if we don't realize them and work on them, we end up hurting ourselves. The typical small business entrepreneurial mentality is got to do everything yourself. Of course, as I'm reading this, I'm going, "Oop, that's me." And it was, he says you got to do everything yourself. You don't want to delegate things. You're very hesitant to delegate things to others. You feel like no one can do it as good as you can, and therefore you end up overworked, overstressed, holding yourself back. What do you mean by that is, why holding yourself back? I mean, your business doesn't really achieve the growth that it could because you're spending so much time doing every detail and every job and every chore within your business. You don't have time left over for those really big hitter things that can be moving your business ahead faster than it was. So, yeah, back in 2005, we were growing pretty good. But the thing about it was is I was, like maybe some of you on this call, just working way too much. And really the joy was coming out of it. I was starting to lose the joy. So as I read this book and I heard this gentleman's message, and he has other messages in there, but this is the main one that I think I want to talk about today. It changed the way I thought about things. It changed the way I thought about what I'm going to do with my business. And I became more open to delegating, finding other people and services and systems that can help me run my business better and get me away from doing the things that I thought I always had to do because I had to, chief cook and bottle washer, and realized, no, there's other people's systems and things that can help me. And so I took on that mindset, and it really changed things. So that's an experience that I went through that really came out of this book by Michael Gerber. And really, one of the things that he talked about was working on your business. And that whole thing about working on your business means getting yourself out of the middle of everything, doing the parts that you really enjoy and love, but those other things that you don't enjoy much or are using a lot of your time where your time could be spent better elsewhere, find people or systems that can do those for you so you can use that time now to work on your business. So if you're picturing your mind kind of stepping outside your business, so you have some time to step out and now work on it, then you can grow it faster and you can have more time. So look at who you guys are. You're the inspector, right? So I can guarantee you every one of you got into inspecting because you love inspecting. That's why you have your company. You're also a business owner. So that means you got to do everything else running the business. Some of it's not so glamorous, right? Chasing receivables, kind of writing up marketing materials and doing your marketing and handling your phone and your email and all that kind of stuff. Some of it you might enjoy, some of it you might not. Some of it may be stuff that it's really not the best use of your time. So you got to think, well, what is it you really enjoy doing? Where is your time better spent? And who can help you spend your time better? Who can help you? What systems can help you so that you can enjoy what you're doing and do what you enjoy? So here's an example, and this is one where I can share my experiences with you on an area of your business that you may enjoy, but it may not be the best use of your time, or you may not enjoy it at all because after a while it may become a bit of a drag on you because you're trying to do what you do enjoy, inspecting the home, working with your clients and agents, and growing your business. So, and I've been doing this for a really long time, many, many years, even before 2005, that life-changing moment. And I have talked to thousands of inspectors, and we here at America's Call Center serve well over 700 inspectors. And I have never met an inspector, not yet, who has told me that they got into inspecting so they could play phone person, secretary, and administrative assistant. To them, it just comes with the job. I'm an owner of a small inspection company, so hey, I got to do that too, whether I like it or not. So this is my area of expertise where I try to help inspectors who want to have the option of something different. So when an inspector thinks about his phones and his scheduling and even his email leads or his online web leads, any of that, he can hire somebody. You can hire somebody to handle your phones and do all that, which is very, very hard to hire for because you're looking for somebody with very specific skills and talents, and they got to be there all the time, and they got to be real professional for you. But that's one option if you want to be an employer. Or you can partner with a quality service that can provide all that and more for you without the headaches of being an employer. Either way, what the result of all that I've seen in my many years of working with home inspectors in this area is more inspections and doing what they enjoy. The inspector gets to get back to doing what he really enjoys, spending more time inspecting, spending more time working with his clients and home buyers, spending more time maybe visiting some agent offices, doing some marketing, working on those big items. And I've heard this statement many, many times through the years, thank you for giving me my life back, because the phone does turn out, the phone, email leads, all that admin and secretarial work, it chews up a lot of time. Let's talk about that for a second. What do you value your time at? I've given this talk to many groups of inspectors face to face, and we'd take a little poll. And typically, most inspectors value their time at $125, $150, $175 an hour. That's what most guys value. When they add up what they charge, and the time they spend, and the report afterwards and stuff, that's what they value their time at. And I know all of us agree. I think your time is worth more than that. You guys, but that's what in my polling of inspectors over the years have told me is we're $125, $175 an hour. So let's break that down. So if you're playing phone person and typist and secretary for your inspection business, of course you got to take the phone calls, right? So you're the kind, you're handling all your own stuff. So if you're handling your own phone calls, here's what's happening: you're taking that initial call. So it could be the home buyer, could be a real estate agent. That call could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes to 20 minutes, depending. If it's one of your favorite agents, it's fast, unless they want to chit chat. If it's a home buyer, they may have a ton of questions, and if you don't take the time to answer them, then you're cutting them short, and they may schedule with the other guy. So on average, in talking to a lot of inspectors, their average calls between the fast ones and the longer ones is about 15 minutes. But then always there's stuff from that original call that the original caller just didn't have. Like say the real estate agent wasn't sure about utilities or wasn't sure about the buyer's email address, which you really need. They weren't sure about the date and time. Well, I got to check with such and such, and I got to call the listing agency if that works, blah, blah, blah. So there's follow-up calls to get access, to polish the order with missing information so that you know where you're going, when you're supposed to be there, that everybody will be there, that the utilities will be on, that somebody will have the door open for you, and on and on. So usually in my experience in talking with inspectors that are handling their own phone, that's another 15 minutes right there. Some a little more, some a little less. Then they got to get that information into whatever system they're using to help track their business. And a lot of you may be using Inspection Support Network, ISN. If you're not, I strongly encourage you to look it out. Just Google Inspection Support Network. But you may be using other systems too. But you got to get that information into whatever database or ISN. So you got to type it in. And you type it wrong. Oops, you got to go back, fix that typo. You finally get it all in there. None of us are professional typists, so it could take about 10 minutes to get the client information, the agent information, the property information, all the date and the time, and all the the service they ordered and all that kind of stuff. You got to get all that in there. That's another 10 minutes. Then now comes your inspection report, and if your system is not integrated with your inspection report, and again, a little plug for ISN, for those of you, it is integrated with most of the, and especially all the popular inspection reports, so you don't have to retype it. But let's say you don't. Now you got to retype it into your inspection report, and there is another few minutes, right? So you add all this up. I have 15 minutes here. For you, it could be 40 minutes, could be 35, could be 55. Whatever it is, that is per inspection. Now multiply that by the number of inspections you've done in the last year, last month, or the last week, doesn't matter. That's a lot of hours. If you look at that, I mean, it's real time. Whether you believe my numbers, put in your own numbers. It's real time. It's not zero. It's really time that you're spending on the phone, being a phone person, a secretary, and a typist. So I got to ask you, what is an hour of your time worth? And how is it better spent? If you value your time at $125 to $175 an hour, would you, and you're there playing phone person and secretary and arrangement maker for your inspections, is that really what somebody whose time is worth an average of $150 an hour should be doing? You're high quality. Every inspector is high quality labor at a high rate. It should be doing the high power stuff. So this is where I see a lot of inspectors' time spent, that when they add it up over 200, 150, 200, 250, 300 inspections, 400 inspections a year, it really adds up to a lot of time. So a lot of inspectors look at alternatives. And like I said, you could look to hire your own assistant if you'd like to. I've known some inspectors that do that, but eventually some point they got to find another one because that assistant has decided to go do something else or whatever, So, but if you want to look at looking at a service such as America's Call Center, and there's others, there's a couple things I got to share with you to save you some trouble. Right out of the chute, all inspector call centers are not the same. Now, you guys, you're doing home inspections. You're all working to a common set of standards. When it comes to inspector call centers, there are no common set of standards. So everybody can call themselves an inspector call center, but it's everything from strawberry to vanilla to chocolate to everything in between. It's very different. So you have to be able to ask a lot of questions. And so they're all not the same. You're not going to get the same service out of all of them, period. I know that because I know everybody. I've been doing this forever. I know everybody that does this, and we're all different. By the way, as a bit of a tangent here, I wrote an article a little while back that's been published in a bunch of magazines, and it's totally unbiased. It's just using my experience of what questions an inspector should ask any inspector call center when he calls them up to find out about their services. Because you guys don't know what questions to ask. Why would you? So this is a guide so that if you want to, at the end here, kind of let me know. I'll get you my email address so I can send it to you. But it's a guide so that if you're looking at call centers, you can ask them the intelligent questions that matter most to you and see what kind of answer you get. And so this article has a bunch of questions, and here's what they should be able to tell you, and then you can have that while you're talking to them on the phone to make sure they're not, shooting you to the bull, or they're telling you straight, or they have no answer at all. And that way you can make sure you get, you're doing a good job of interviewing them. It's kind of like interviewing. Okay, back on this. So all inspector call centers are not the same. So your phones, your email leads, your web leads are so ultra important to you. Whoever's going to handle them, you got to feel good about them. You got to trust them. It shouldn't be a service that you're using. It should be somebody you have a relationship with, a partnership with. That's how serious you should look at anybody who's going to help you with your phones and your email and your web leads and all that kind of stuff. Dealing with your clients and dealing with your agents. They're your image, right? So you got to be careful of that. Just make sure it's somebody you can trust. You're probably going to be better off with one that's full service, that offers deep and broad services, than ones that's just skimming across the top, because those that skim across the top and don't do a whole lot for you, they're really not taking much work off your plate. They're actually, in some cases, could cause you more work, and you don't want that. You really want one that personalizes to your needs and preferences. The one thing I love about home inspectors, I love a lot of things about serving home inspectors, but one of them is every inspector runs their company a little bit differently, sometimes a lot differently in the services they offer, how they like to have them talked about, how they like to be scheduled, where they'll travel to, how they like their key agents dealt with, everything. And that's why you guys are entrepreneurs. That's why you have your own inspection company, because you want it done your way. You should, if you're going to use an inspector call center, you got to make sure they're going to bend to your needs and preferences and get inside of your box rather than them asking you to get inside of their box because, sorry, Mr. Inspector, you got to do it our way. You really don't want that. Um, you want one that's going to act as your office, not a call center. It should sound like your office. They should know everything about you. It should be part of your image, part of your company to all of your callers, not a call center. The Lord knows your real estate agents do not want to call a call center. They want to call somebody that they believe is your office. Of course, any inspector call center you use, if you should be inspector specific. It shouldn't be serving a whole bunch of industries. And oh, by the way, we also serve home inspectors because they're not going to be inspection knowledgeable. You really want someone who's inspection knowledgeable. You want one that answers every call, no voicemail during the day, because what's the point? The whole reason you're using them is so that there is no voicemail during the day, and no goofy machines to press one for this and press two for that. And I feel ashamed that I even have to mention something like this, but there are inspector call centers out there that find that acceptable. So again, we're not all the same. You want one that also books all of your orders, obviously, but also does all that follow-up communication. Any one of you guys out there handling your own phones and doing your own scheduling, you know that on that first call that you get on an order, the agent or the home buyer doesn't have all the information that you're asking for, and so you want a call center that's going to do all that do the follow-up calls to that agent, getting the remaining information, the follow-up calls to that client to politely get that remaining information, to confirm, to get email addresses, to get access, to get whether the utilities are truly going to be on for you, and all that kind of good stuff, so that you can get there and not worry about it. In other words, take all the phone admin off your shoulders. Not some. If you're going to go for it, go for it. Have them take all the admin and phone work and follow up and all that kind of secretarial work off your shoulders. So to give you an example, because obviously, I run America's call center, so I can give you an example of how one inspector call center does it. And we've been doing it the longest. We've been around forever. But I want to kind of talk to you so you can use us as a comparison. So, for example, we're home inspector specialists. We're in our 18th year. We only serve home inspectors like you. We don't do this for, we don't even do it for HVAC or plumbers, electricians, nothing. We do home inspectors only. And we look at ourselves as your office. We do all your selling to your, you all get people that call in, they're shopping around. We'll handle that. All the scheduling, the booking, your frontline customer service, so that people who are calling in with inspections, questions about inspections you might have done last week or last month, and we're handling all those calls for you. We know inspections because that's all we do. We know all the related services. I don't think there's a service that an inspector offers anywhere throughout the U.S. and Canada we don't know about, because we have inspectors that offer them. So if you offer it, you don't have to teach us about it. We already know it. Then we just want to learn how you like to have that service applied. We know the daily life of an inspector. We know what you guys go through day in and day out, and how to talk to your clients and agents. So when they're talking to us, they're talking to your office, not a call center. Like I said, we're a call center. The way we produce, first of all, we spend a lot of time getting to know you, and how and your business and how you like to have things run, and then we apply that to your callers as they call in. So to them, we're your office right down the street. We're not a group of people in Kansas City. We're wherever you are. We're your office where you are. And not everybody here answers your calls. It's broken down to a team of about 5 or 6 people that are assigned to you, and it's the same people all the time. And even one of those 5 or 6 people is your account manager. So you always have someone to lean on if you want to change your pricing or change your availability, or you're going to go on vacation and you just want to make sure things are done a certain way. Your account manager is always there for you, as is your team of 5 or 6 people. So basically how it works, here's the basics, really, how it works. You sign up with us, and then, we'll arrange a start date with you. Now, it's a minimum of 2 weeks because we got to get to know you really well. It takes 2 weeks for us to get to know you. Slightly more at other times when things get busier, but we like to have a minimum of 2 weeks. You can set the start date whatever you want after that. We'll take more time if you want to give us more time because we love to get to know you. And the startup process includes calls with you that we'll pre-arrange, so we'll fit it into your calendar. We're going to be emailing back and forth with you, a lot of email documents so we can share a lot of information with each other. And we also do some go-to meetings. We will actually show you behind our curtain so you can see our system and what's going on and what we have built for you in our system, so how we serve you as your friendly office. I mean, we don't hide anything. We'll show you everything because we want to make sure you see it so you can help us make sure we got it all right and we know each other really well. So when we start taking your calls, it's not like we're brand new. It's like we've been working with you for a long time because that comes across to your callers. Then you call forward your business number to us. We assign to you a toll-free number just specific for your company. So when callers call your business number like they always do, it immediately routes in near us, and the team, those 5 or 6 people, their phones light up with your company name, so that way they can answer it, and then they have a natural conversation with the caller. So they're immediately rerouted there, and then we have a natural flowing conversation. There's no scripts. There's none of that kind of stuff. We hire really smart, mature, intelligent people here that just have a nice, natural flowing conversation. And so we're in action for you. Now, these services that we provide, these are an example of our services. We are the most extensive service providing call center. So I thought you might enjoy seeing a list of services that are available to you if you use our services that may not be available with others. First of all, we answer all your calls live, 11 hours a day, 60 hours a week. Never, ever, ever voicemail during live hours of operation. Never any kind of goofy machines about press 1 for this, press 2 for that. Right? None of that. That's terrible. That never happens here. We promote you, and what I mean by that is, you all get your share of people who are calling around. We call them shoppers. They call around. They know they need a home inspection, but they're not really sure what to ask. So they usually ask, what do you charge? And if all of us were in the same room right now and I ask you, you get those kind of calls, I bet you every one of your heads are going to go up and down. Yep, I get those people. Because they just want to know what it costs. And that's a scary question because, they should be asking other questions, but they don't know. So what we do in those cases, hey, we teach them, we educate them, we tell them about your inspection, the structural, electrical, mechanical, all that. We talk to them about all that. We talk about your inspection report. We talk about the review on site. We talk about your background, your qualifications, and why you're the best qualified inspector for the job. So we call it promoting. You can call it selling. We call it educating. We really educate the callers. Makes it easy, really, to book them when you do that. Then on everything. So we do that to capture the inspection. If it's a repeat agent who uses you over and over, we're not going to go through all that. We're going to treat them respectfully, professionally, and we're going to get it done for them. And they're going to be really happy that you got an office. I've never had an inspector join us that hadn't said, my agents really enjoy that I have an office now because they love me, but they hated my voicemail. So we also can handle all your email and web leads. So anything you have coming in from any email generating lead sites, any web leads you have, for example, from the ISN online scheduler for those guys using ISN, or from the real estate agent dashboard within ISN if you're using that. We can handle all those for you. We can do all the follow-up to get them all ready to go in order to capture the inspection. We do follow-up to make sure that we're at least following up with those leads twice to make sure we're getting them on your schedule. So we'll book them all to your specifications, price them to your specifications, everything, just the way you want it. And then here's another really key thing that is really important. Every now and then, and you have it happen yourself, somebody has some special needs. It could be one of your favorite agents needs a special date and time, or they need a home buyer calls in and they need an inspection, but it's got to be some certain stuff. It's the kind of things that when we get those, we don't say no or maybe. We call you. We'll call you up and say, hey, we got Jane from Caldwell Banker on the other line. She wants to know if you can do this at this weird date and this weird time, and it's not really, doesn't fit into your schedule really well. What do you think? What can we do? And we'll work it out with you. And then we'll get Jane back on the line and say, hey, good news, we got it booked for you. So that way you know that those, the ones that require a little massaging, we're getting those booked for you too, because we'll call you. Of course, we'll get a lot of information on the property, the information you want us to get, a lot of information on the client, on the real estate agent involved, on every inspection appointment. That's all key stuff. We'll make all the follow-up calls to get all that information they didn't have available on the original call. Even for your ISN online scheduler orders and your real estate agent dashboard orders, if you're using that in ISN, we're doing the same thing for those. Taking that work off your shoulder and making sure those don't sit there, that someone's working them fast. Because if you're doing all yourself, those are going to sit there. If you're using someone like us, we'll take care of those right away, and that makes your agents happy. We are integrated with ISN for two-way booking and data transfer. That's just a fancy word for saying anything we book on our system pops into your ISN. Anything you may do in your ISN pops over in here with us. So it's a very extensive two-way data transfer. We've worked with ISN. It's been there for years. And we just make it, putting on steroids every day, making it better and better. If you want us to, we will always arrange access with the client or buyer's agent to make sure you and we know how you're going to get into the house. If you happen to be in an area where you have to call the seller's agent or a showing service in order to get access, we can take care of that for you too. If you use third-party services, let's say you use a third-party termite company or a radon company or a septic company or anything like that, we can arrange those for you. So those folks will always be there, and you don't have to worry about it. We can handle we also handle all your message calls. These are the ones, you know what these are like. People calling in with something you did for them last week or last month. They have a question. They need another copy of the report, or et cetera. Well, we'll get all that information, and we can email and text you real time as it happens. We can also do competitive research for you of your local competitors, where we can shop them and get lots of information on their pricing, their availability, what they say about themselves, even down to how many times we had to call them before they actually answered the phone. It's really good information a lot of our inspectors use to help fine-tune their pricing and figure out what additional services they might want to offer to keep up with or get ahead of their competitors. We are fully synced with ISN. Like I said, automatically syncs back and forth. So from ISN to us, from us to ISN, it's very deep and technical, but it just gets the job done. All the client, agent data, calendar information, property info, everything, even from your online scheduler. And the standard synchronization is really extensive. But if you want to have more things sync up, we can make that happen too. We've got a full-time programmer on staff who is also very good buddies with all the ISN programmers. So we can make that happen very easily. So the benefit of that is you don't have to double enter anything. Again, we'll save you more time. It's fully integrated. So between us and ISN, there's people and systems being put in place to take a load off your shoulders. So the benefits of our services, these are the key ones. You will get more inspections. And the reason is an inspector who has an office, when that person calls, if it's the first time that caller has ever called that inspector, their image is a lot different. To that caller, that inspector is a lot different and a lot more professional than an inspector who's answering their own phone. And that makes them feel more comfortable, and that leads to more bookings. Let alone the calls that you might be missing now, where by the time you call them back, they've already scheduled somebody else. That will never happen. So you get more inspections from that too. Typically, I've had inspectors tell me that have joined us that their inspection volume, their revenue, has gone up 20 to 30% when they brought us on to help them. And that's from the many years we've been doing this, when guys have shared that information with me. And that 20 to 30% revenue increase comes from not just more inspections, but also more ancillary services per inspection. We're really good at upselling termite, radon, thermal inspections, septic inspections, water quality testing, well testing, pools, spas, outbuildings, mother-in-law apartments, you name it. We will get all those for you and make sure the client's being well taken care of with the services that are best for them. We'll give you more time back. And whenever we have an inspector join us, that's a busier inspector, that's one of the first things he tells us is, thank you for giving my life back. They're so much less stressed. Had an inspector call us the other day. He's out of Ohio. He called us from his car, and it was about 6 o'clock his time. He was going out to dinner with his wife. He put his wife on the phone. She was ecstatic. It was the first time in 10 years they've gone out to dinner where he didn't have the phone in his pocket, where he had to get up from dinner and go answer calls. It was delighted. I think we can call ourselves a marriage saver. We're good for your marriage. And then also that professional image. An inspector that has an office, hands down, gets more inspections, has happier agents than an inspector who's handling the phone on his own. That's just from years of experience. So I can tell you, put systems in place and grow. By systems, I mean, like if you're not using ISN, use it. If you're not using if you are using ISN, pat on the back, way to go. That's a system that you put in place, and I guarantee you that most of you using ISN, if not all of you, would tell me, yeah, that's saving me some time. Now, you put a people system in place. That's America's Call Center, and those two are hooked together. Takes more load off your shoulders, gives you more professionalism, makes your life easier, gets you more inspections. So it allows you to now work on your business. So you have more time back to do what you want with it. And then you can grow your business with that time. You can do what you enjoy and get your life back. And it gives your clients and agents and your business, your inspection business, the love they deserve by not missing calls, by gaining inspections, and all because you got an office that you can trust with your phone and your reputation. So the one simple thing you can do to grow your business, do what you enjoy and get your life back, is work on your business. And how you can work on your business is to get the things off your plate that you don't enjoy doing or are sucking up a lot of your time that could help, that you should be working on bigger, heavy hitter items. So start by letting us help you do that. We would love to be able to be your office and help you take your business to the next level and help you enjoy your life and your inspection business a lot more. So contact us. Give us a call. I mean, Ben was kind enough at the very beginning to show our URL. You can also give us a call at 888-462-6153. You can shoot an email to your office at americascallcenter.com or at paul@americascallcenter.com. I mean, lots of ways to get a hold of us, but we'd love to talk to you, talk about your business, give you a custom price quote tailored to your inspection business. And I'd appreciate it to hear from you, especially if you want a copy of that article about questions to ask when you're looking at a call center, and I'd be glad to send that to you. Otherwise, I would like to thank Ben and Nachi very much for allowing me to have this time, and I would like to thank all of you for being online here today, where we talked about this and shared some experiences. The only thing I can hope and pray is that I've helped you, that something I've said might have helped you, and then if I get some business out of it by helping you in that way, fine. If not, I hope there's something I might have said that might have helped you enjoy your inspection business and grow it to the level where you want it to be. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you very much. I do have a few questions if you want to stick around for a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I'm here. I got as much time as you want.
Let's see. We have Danica. She asks, will Paul be offering call center alternatives for Canadian inspectors?
Oh, we already do. We already do. We serve inspectors throughout Canada. In fact, I was just at an inspection conference down in Atlanta, and got that same question asked by in a Canadian inspector down there. And I know some of the terms and the spellings are a little bit different between the U.S. and Canada, but everything else is pretty much the same. So we serve quite a few inspection companies throughout Canada. To us, that's natural. There's no difference at all.
Very good. There's another one. Let's see. I have a question from John. I have a custom phone number, and can I forward that to you so that my custom phone number can still be used?
Yes, absolutely. Your business phone number does not change. Your business phone number stays just what it is. You call forward that business number, whether it's a custom phone number or a regular. You just call forward it to a toll-free number that we assign to you, and that's how the calls route in here to us in a split in lickety split, which is really fast. And it goes to that team of 5 or 6 people. You do not have to change your business number. That'd be killer. No, you've got to keep your same business number. We're not going to have you change it at all. Your business number stays the same.
Adrian has a question. Does America Call Center help? Do they have Spanish assistance?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do have a couple folks on staff that are fluent in Spanish. Um, it's always been a little tricky for us because obviously we have to make sure that all our folks here that English is their first language. So, but we do like hiring people that are as talented as we need, but also have maybe a second language such as Spanish. So we do have a couple people on staff that are bilingual, where their first language is English and their second language is Spanish. And in fact, they come from Spanish households, but yet they're all educated in straight English. So they do speak both. So that's not a problem.
Um, I really like your presentation, Paul. That was really nice. Thank you very much. I like the call center because you're essentially you're an expert. You're an expert in this simple yet critical step to growth in someone's business. I hired a full-time employee to answer the phone, and I can tell you, that's a really expensive system. So much more expensive than implementing integrating a system like America's Call Center into my home inspection business.
And typically how it works, Ben, is the numbers between hiring your own assistant versus using us is we're usually a half to a third of what it is you would need to pay your own employee. Plus, we provide you 50% more coverage, like 60 hours a week, whereas an employee might give you 40 to 45. We're there for 60. So 50% more coverage at half or a third of the price.
And also, when I hire a new employee or a new inspector, I feel I got this great burden on my shoulders. And it's not like I can try this person out for 30 days. And if it doesn't work for me, I can get rid of them. My heart is into it. So there's that risk that a lot of people think that they can't take when they hire someone who can answer the phone for them, because they think they have to hire a full-time employee. And that's really a big burden for some people to handle. But America's Call Center is that system where it's, the risk is very low, right? You can go in.
Yeah, and here's how the risk is even lower.
Yeah.
The risk is even lower in that there's no service contract that we have with our inspectors. There's nothing that locks them in. There's nothing with a 30, 60, 90-day termination notice or termination fees. It's a handshake. And the beauty of it is, if an inspector takes us on as his office, if it doesn't work out, he can take his phone back whenever he wants. So you can call it month to month or day to day, but the way we look at it is, hey, he's the boss, we're the office, we got to do well for him every day, or he's going to say, thanks, you gave it a nice try, I got to go. And there's nothing locking him in.
Yep.
So there's no marriage. We're not getting married at all. It's very, very, very easy.
And I love it that it's really all about math. If you need to make a decision, you start off with math. It's very simple math. So if you're doing a couple hundred inspections a year, and I value my time at $100 an hour, and that's about $30 that's about 30 hours of my time. I could decide to invest that in myself. That's really expensive, or put a system in place. And there's a few $1,000s in play, and that's what is available. You got to put that system in place.
And here's this cool story. Here's a cool story. I was just at this inspector conference in Landon, and I was talking to this inspector who's since joined up with us, and he had this dilemma. He was like, I want to change my inspection report. He's using Brand X, but he wants to move over to Dominic's Home Inspector Pro. But the thing about it is he doesn't have time. He doesn't have time to do something that he knows is really good for his business. So I looked at him and said, well, why don't we just take some time off your shoulders and give you time back and sign up with us now, and then that's going to give you time to change your inspection report. He goes, that's a really good point. He signed up because he realized, you know what, the math of that time, that's what's preventing me from doing something that's really important in my business. And for him, it was changing his inspection report. Yep. And so it's getting that time back to do other things in their business that otherwise they can't get to.
Yep. I really like it also. My last comment I would say is that what you said is that your goal as America Call Center is to act as if you are a part of my company, and not to be like someone's calling a service. Someone's calling my inspection company, And that's your goal, to act like that. That's really great.
Yes, that act as your office, because it's all of the image. It's all part of the image of being a professional inspection company. So we kind of look at ourselves here as like we travel all over the country every day, because that's where our minds go. Because when we answer an inspector, one of our inspectors in any city, that's really where in our mind, that's where we are. And we've got all the mapping tools and everything to make sure that we're managing drive times and et cetera, all that. But to the caller, it's in fact, there's most of the folks here are women. We do have a few guys answering the phones that actually do an awesome job, but most of them are women. And they look at themselves as like they have lots of husbands, because the reason is when a caller calls in, they think they're speaking to the inspector's wife.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how intimate we are. That's how close we are. They think that they're speaking to me. So sometimes they have a little chuckle with the caller about, oh, well, I'm not his wife. I'm really his assistant. But that's the kind of image that we portray. And again, getting back to, there's other call centers out there that don't think that's important.
Right.
And it just shocks me. I'm really kind of ashamed that they call themselves an inspector call center, because that's, in my book, that's not the way the job should be done.
Yep. There are a few people. Let's see. I'm reading the questions. Yeah, there are a few people who are asking about specific prices and levels and fees and things like that. And I think I'm just going to direct all of those folks to your website and have them call you and your staff and talk about fees, unless you want to talk about that. David is asking about specific fees for access to agents and clients, and Adrian is giving a question about prices, and John is also. Do you want to comment quickly about prices, or direct everyone to your website and call later?
Yeah, let me comment quick about the prices, so at least the folks have an idea. We tailor our pricing to each inspection company, because every inspection company is different. For example, it could be a person who just started their inspection company, or another case could be someone who started their inspection company a couple of years ago, and now they're really getting busy. Or it could be a multi-inspector, 2, 3, 4, 5. We inspect up to 10 to 15 inspectors in some companies. All across the range there, our pricing is different, because it's got to fit where that inspector is in the life cycle of their company. So we have a beginning inspector rate plan. We have a kind of an established single inspector rate plan, and then we have a rate plan for multi-inspector companies.
Nice.
All of those I hate to quote, because until I talk to an inspector, I'm not sure whether where they fit in all that. But here's the structure. There's two basic structures. There's a monthly base rate, and then there's a per appointment fee. And the per appointment fee, that's universal across all of our pricing plans, and that's typically $20 per completed inspection. Here's the really important thing about that. It's not $20 when we book the inspection. It's $20 when we book it, do all the follow-up, make sure everything's ready to go, then the inspector gets on site and completes the inspection appointment, then the $20 applies. So all of our follow-up, all of our work, all of our legwork to get everything ready, then he's paying us for all that, so we got to make sure we guide that inspection in and he actually gets it done.
Beautiful.
So another way to look at that is there's no charge for cancellation. So if an inspection should cancel, and we'll always try to save it, but if we can't save it, then he doesn't get charged the $20, because he didn't actually complete the inspection. So that's common across all. Now the monthly base rate, that depends on whether it's a beginning inspector, an established single inspector, or a multi-inspector. So then I would like to be able to quote that and tailor it for each individual inspector. I would hate to tell any of the individuals you just named what it would be for them, when really it might be something less. So yeah, just shoot something to paul@americascallcenter.com. Go to our website under Contact Us. Shoot a form in. We'll give you a call, and I ask you a couple questions, and then bingo, I can nail that price for you.
Paul, it's an honor to have you. Thank you for coming to our live class, and everyone who's attending or watching this recording, if you have any questions, go to americascallcenter.com or give them a call, or you can email us. You can email me. My name is Ben Gromicko from INTERNACHI. That's the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. Paul, any last words?
I guess the last words would be, first of all, Ben, thank you very much, and to INTERNACHI for inviting me to do this webinar. I really appreciate. You guys have always been terrific to work with. everything from the newsletter to everything else we do together. I really appreciate it. You guys are top notch. Uh, to the folks on the phone today and the webinar today, I hope, like I said, I hope to have helped in some way. If we end up doing business together, that would be terrific. I would love that because I know we can help you. But otherwise, I hope maybe there was, if not, I hope there was just something I might have said today that would help you in some way. As again, we're all small business owners. We all share that in common. Something I might have said that you would say to yourself, okay, I could use that piece of information. I learned something today, and that might help me in my business. I hope at least I've been able to achieve that because I love working with home inspectors. Been doing it for a long time, and I just really appreciate helping because I know home inspectors themselves are naturally caring, helping people, and they love to help each other and their clients. I like to help home inspectors too, so I hope I've been able to do a little bit of that today.
You have. Paul, everyone, thank you. See you next time, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Bye.